Amazing. Give it up to our last panel. And coming on next, I don't know if you guys have heard of reflective AI, but Pindar Van Arman will be here to tell us all about reflective AI. So give it up to the last panel, give it up to our new speaker, and we'll see you in a bit.
I'm living in that 21st century, doing something mean to it.
Oh, cool. This is a great stage. Hey, thanks for everyone for coming out. I'm going to be talking, like she said, about reflective AI. Let's see how the slide's working. Perfect. All right. First off, I'm Pindar Van Arman. I'm a crypto artist that makes art using AI, robotics, and the blockchain. For those of you that are familiar with me, I don't need to show this, but for those that aren't, the robots I make, they pick up brushes, and they dip them in paint, and then they make marks on canvas. But we're going to go into details on that later. I want to start with why I got started on the blockchain. So, I went one slide too fast. So I got started on the blockchain because I was trying, before the blockchain, I was trying to sell my art anywhere I could, which ended up being everywhere but established art, the art establishment. I was trying, but the art establishment wanted nothing to do with AI art. In fact, it was like really hard to get into competitions. There's multiple juried shows that as soon as they found out that I'm painting robots, I got uninvited. But I love that. I really like that about getting uninvited to juried art shows, because art jurors are artists and they're sophisticated. And when other artists are telling you that your art isn't art, that sort of tells you that you're onto something, because it most definitely is art. And that had me excited about going forward. So, another person, Jerry Saltz, probably United States' most famous art critic, looked at one of my painting robots, or my robot paintings, about 5 years ago, and he gave the review. He gave, among many things, he said, it doesn't look like a robot made it, but that doesn't make it any good. And this was a review that I loved, because despite it sounding negative, I turned it into a Hollywood headline and put it all over my social media, and had it say, doesn't look like a robot made it. And that led to a lot of opportunities. But the other thing I loved is that Jerry Saltz, possibly the most sophisticated art critic, he has Pulitzer Prize winning art critic, didn't get it, didn't understand what the AI was doing, didn't understand, he just didn't have the context of vocabulary to know what I was doing and interpret it correctly. He was looking at through the eyes of a human, and how humans see, when my art was specific and looking uniquely at how machines see. So, what does this have to do with crypto? Looking for anywhere that would appreciate my artwork, I found myself on SuperRare. Or I found SuperRare, I applied, was accepted, and beyond being accepted into SuperRare, I was immediately accepted into the crypto art community. No one was asking whether my art was art. No one was asking whether or not AI art was art. It was just immediate acceptance. So that told me something about the crypto art community. That told me that the crypto art community was ahead of everyone else. The traditional art world was really reluctant, but from the beginning, the crypto art community has been into AI art, generative art, and I was like, we know something that the rest of the world doesn't, and I found that to be really impressive. So, there is a question, though. There's a question of, we're before everyone else. We're way ahead of everyone else. There's evidence of that with the Lost Robbies, the recent autoglyph sales. So we are ahead, and we're onto something that the rest of the world isn't. But are we too far ahead? And is there an example of being too far ahead for your own good? And I'm going to tell you the story of Harold Cohen. Harold Cohen, shortly after I had built my painting robots, I found out about Harold Cohen. Harold Cohen was an artist who he himself had made painting robots, and here's one of his robots. But he had software called Aaron that he used to run his robots. And seeing this and learning about him, not only did I realize he had made painting robots before me, but 30 years before me. This led to a cold call, a friendship, and probably the closest thing I've ever had to art mentor. We'd have long conversations about what AI art was and wasn't, about machine creativity. He was helping me write he was helping me write a TEDx talk, and we had a disagreement about what AI was doing. I was saying this AI is coming up with imagery, and he was very strongly of the opinion that AI couldn't come up with its own imagery. That was just a filter. We argued about it, and we ended our conversation in disagreement. But I took everything he said to heart, worked on the draft, sent him the TEDx draft, and that was the last I ever heard from him. This is a bittersweet story for me because it's a bittersweet story for me because I thought he was angry with me, but about 6 months later, his assistant got in touch, and it turned out that shortly after I sent him the draft, he had passed away. And so it's so bittersweet for me because it's like one of those things where we never know the last time we're going to talk to someone. And it's sweet for me too because I realized he wasn't mad at me. And then it gets even more complicated emotionally. It's bittersweet now because as I stand here talking right now and speak, he has a major exhibition at the Whitney in America, and he was always well respected in AI circles, but he never got the credit he deserved from traditional art. And so why is he so popular now? Why is everyone turning on, or like what has he done in the last 8 years that makes him so interesting now? And it's not that he's done something interesting, it's that we finally have the vocabulary, the experience, everything we need to know about AI art to recognize how good it is or to understand it. And what was the message he was trying to give us? Like one thing he was trying to tell us, and that actually came up in our final conversation. One of the things he was really interested in was emergence. How do I describe emergence? Harold Cohen strongly believed that all generative art, including AI art, was strictly deterministic. That if you took all the possibilities, you could program variety into your code to make generative art, but if you took all the possibilities, it'd fall in a bell curve. And we all know that with our favorite crypto art projects. There's a seed phrase, or not seed phrase, I'm sorry, there's a seed, and there's a limited amount of possibilities to make the art, and it all falls in the bell curve. But he wasn't interested in that. He was interested in generative art that was off the bell curve. Generative art that broke free from the algorithmic determination. And that's what he thought emergence was. So, with that in mind, my goal has always been emergence and reflection. The project I'm doing here at NFT Paris is my latest attempt at it. 9 paintings were made with me and my robots. And from these 9 paintings, we made 999 long-form generative art pieces. The long-form generative art pieces are a mixture of everything that's happening in the painting, and basically they come from it. So the paintings themselves were designed or made by the robot's AI, and it was made by reflecting. The robot would make marks, look at the marks, see what the marks are doing, and paint some more. It was like generative, it had generative AI that was using neural nets to imagine things. That had procedural AI that was using stuff like, was using stuff to draw precisely. You can think of it in a metaphor as like a creative right brain of the robot fighting the logical left brain back and forth, the synthetic embodiment of a creative process. So as these were coming out, it was going for emergence, but where did the emergence come from? And in the case of the painting robots, I should show you guys this. Okay. In the case of the painting robots, the emergence comes from it interacting with the canvas. As it's applying paint, the paint's blobbing up, blending, dripping, and as it's reacting to that, unpredictable, unplanned things are happening. We've gone from a finite amount of possibilities to an infinite amount of possibilities. And that's where the emergence is coming. Oh, no, I didn't hit play. Let's see if that works. There you go. You can watch it while I finish up the talk. So as it's painting it, it has these infinite possibilities, and that's what reflection's all about. Reflection is an exploration of emergence, and the 999 pieces that were debuted here for NFT Paris are an invite to join in this exploration. They're me trying to tell everyone this is really important, and to show how important it is, for the next year I'm going to be open sourcing all the code. I'm going to be inviting people to help me make frameworks. I'm going to make frameworks and release them. Maybe even I'll do some kind of platform to help artists release the art. But that is where we're going. That's where I'm taking reflective AI, and it is inevitable. In closing, it's inevitable that all generative processes in the future will begin to use reflective AI. And not only is it inevitable that they'll begin using reflective AI, I think reflection might possibly be the key to us realizing truly emergent machine creativity. Anyway, thank you all for letting me debut this project here at NFT Paris in the shadow of the Eiffel Tower. And I look forward to talking to you all for the rest of the day as I walk around here and meet everyone. Anyway. Thanks.